That's the end of our first morning in South Texas. I got light out and we can see the countryside, and it's a pretty different place than back home. That is an unbelievable deer. You caught him. A lot of hunters dream of making that trip to the northern whitetail woods of Canada, but for me, that's where I grew up hunting. And although I share that same desire to hunt whitetails somewhere completely different, while growing up, my dreams were fueled by watching videos of hunters trailing deer in the South Texas brush country. And this past season, I finally had the opportunity to do just that, when Jason Peterson and I traveled the over 1,800 miles from our homes here in Saskatchewan to South Texas to hunt with Charles Coker and TC Outfitters. At home right now, I was just talking to my wife, and it's a balmy minus 48 degrees, and that is cold. And here it is plus 65 Fahrenheit, and it's really warm. Now in Texas, for my first time, we were all loaded up to drive south from San Antonio to Charles Free Range Ranch near Uvalde, Texas.
What's up, Dave?
Much, how are you doing?
Hey buddy, how are you?
After arriving at TC Outfitters well after 2 a.m., we got unpacked and a couple hours of sleep before it was time to head out for the first day's hunt. Well, we got a couple hours sleep, barely. But with all the mess ups with our flight yesterday, it's actually kind of neat because now today, because we came in last night at dark, we haven't even seen the South Texas brush country. It's just been dark. Guard's ready to take us off. Me and Richie are going to crawl into a blind, and I guess we're going to watch the sunrise on the Sendero. So let's go. Shortly after daybreak, my first encounter with the South Texas buck. I couldn't believe the amount of wildlife that flourished in the brush country, and it seemed like the bucks just kept showing up. That's the end of our first morning in South Texas. I got light out and we can see the countryside, and it's a pretty different place than back home. We only seen one mature buck and he wasn't a shooter, so I'm gonna head back to camp for a little bit and get back on the stand and try again this afternoon. For my first morning in Texas, we saw a pile of deer, and a lot of them were bucks. But Jason, way on the other side of the ranch, well, he was seeing a lot of animals too, but of a different species.
Should be a good hunt. We got Dean and Richie sitting somewhere else, way on the other side of the ranch. There's a big place, all low fence, free range. Got the ozonic, so it's going over my head here. You want the ozonic set up, whatever direction the wind is, so it's going downwind of you. You want your human scent to come through the ozone to break the molecules, so they don't smell human scent. Just a little tidbit here in the morning with 9 javelinas down here.
Well, the javelinas certainly create a lot of noise. Jason does have a few encounters with deer on his first morning.
wrap for this morning. Our guy's just coming to pick us up here, so we will pack her in and try again.
We met back at the camp for a fantastic home-cooked breakfast to talk with the other hunters and warm up by the fire before taking a few more practice shots. Early in the afternoon, we headed back to the blind to hunt for the evening. Back in the same blind we hunted this morning, and we've seen piles of deer. So there's a lot of other bucks in the area, so we're back here tonight, gonna give it another try. Again, only moments into the hunt, we were covered up with deer. It didn't take long to start seeing some mature bucks, like this old 5x6, who would have been in a lot of trouble if he weren't all busted up. Again, that afternoon we were seeing a lot of good deer when a new buck stepped out from the brush. And when he did step out, we instantly recognized him as the broken brow tine buck that our outfitter Charles had told us was in the area and that we should think about taking if given the opportunity. And after taking a good look, well, I agreed that this was the South Texas buck that I wanted. We knew just by his actions that he was smart, and our encounter lasted only a few moments with no shot. But I instantly told cameraman Richie that we still had time, and that was the buck that we were taking home to Canada, or nothing. Well, I didn't get a shot at the buck that I was hoping on, and that same afternoon over at Jason's blind, well, he was about to have a similar experience.
This afternoon. Just got hunkered in here, I think it's 3 o'clock. Got deals on his phone, got a pretty good win. They said that there was a 175-inch deer killed here this year. So they're hoping that another mature buck moved in.
Shortly after getting settled, a big, heavy-horned 5x5 steps out from the brush. He was well within range, but the big fella turns and leaves back into the brush from which he came. Later that evening, Jason sees a buck and thinks that the heavy 5x5 is back. However, he quickly realizes that this is an even bigger 5x5, wide with long beams, and Jason gets ready to shoot. However, the theme of our hunt continues as the buck turns and leaves, never offering a shot. With multiple close calls, we headed back to camp again for a great home-cooked meal and some time around the campfire before heading to bed to try again tomorrow. It's our second night in the blind here in South Texas with Charles Coker, and we actually filmed the deer here last night. He wouldn't come in, he just skirted across the back against the brush, and we showed the footage to Charles, and he said that that was definitely one of the deer that they've been targeting here. Again, it doesn't take long for the deer to begin moving, including a few bucks. A little later in the evening, we were about to have a rather odd encounter when these cranes stepped out to mingle with the deer. But little did we know that we were about to have the encounter that we had traveled the over 1,800 miles to have. The broken brow tine buck was back and working his way closer. Now, at under 20 yards, we just needed a broadside shot, and in my mind, we had already won, when he turned on a dime and walked straight away.
I think we're jinxed, Richie. It's the second I throw, he was right here.
On the other side of the ranch, at Jason's blind, well, he too was about to have another encounter with a familiar buck.
Mid-afternoon, back in the same blind. Seen that big wide 5x5 yesterday evening. Just couldn't get a shot. Just didn't work out. The wind's not real great. Most of the deer are coming from this side, but got it going out there. Was an onyx pointed down. So wind's blowing straight kind of that way. It's been about 2 hours. Haven't seen nothing except 3 does walk by. But the wind it just laid right off. Maybe the last hour here was a movement.
Jason's long beam 5x5 was back and working his way closer. Welcome back. Before the break, the South Texas buck that had given Jason the slip once already had made another appearance, and Jason was ready.
Just went down. Yeah. Oh, South Texas, Charles Coker. I cannot thank you enough. That deer right there, I seen him last night, and he was spooky. The wind was blowing this way last night. There's 2 people that I need to 100% thank. That's Charles Coker, the owner here. I hunted with him last year, took an awesome deer last year. This one's almost the same frame. I think he's a little bit heavier. Man, he was spooky coming in, coming all around. And tonight, another guy is, actually it's not a guy, it's everybody at those onyx. I'm not lying. That wind was straight down there all day. I'm shaking so bad. I just killed a giant. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. That is awesome. Thanks, big fella. We looked at the footage last night, and Charles and and our guide Warren, they both said that this deer was at least 6.5 years old, which, I mean, for me, score is absolutely nothing. It's all about maturity. Great ending to a hunt.
On the last night we had to hunt, Jason took a great buck, and that same night, over on the other side of the ranch, cameraman Richie and I had another encounter with our target buck. On my last day, the broken brow tine buck had made another appearance, and yet again we were denied a shot opportunity, and we were forced to simply watch my South Texas buck walk away, knowing that my hunt was over. Well, that's a wrap on our South Texas whitetail hunt, and we had an amazing time. I didn't shoot a deer, but it was an incredible hunt, and the very first day that we were here, we seen a really nice buck with a broken off brow tine. And what I usually do is I really enjoy hunting a specific deer, and we decided that's a deer we wanted to go after, and we had a couple more encounters with him. I remember when I was a little kid watching hunting DVDs with my dad, and one of them was titled Legend of the Muy Grande, and it was about hunting the brush country in South Texas, and my dad always wanted to do that and he didn't get the chance. So I've been wanting to come down here for quite a few years, and I'm so glad I did. And actually it's a great break from the cold at home. It's January, and as long as Charles will have us here, we're going to be here. I'm going to be here every year. This is an incredible way to extend your season. There's some incredible deer around, and we're actually going to go check one out because we got word that tonight Jason shot a big wide 5x5. So we're going to head over there and see how Jason made out. But that's a wrap, and we had a great season. I guess you got a good one.
Yeah, he's...
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't think we've seen that one that big, did we, Richie?
No, he didn't.
That's awesome, eh? He's wide, he looks like a Texas
I'm
deer.
just a way better hunter.
Well, now we know why he made such good friends with the outfitter before we got here. He got the good stands, and so Richie, remember, if I send Charles a Christmas card next year, maybe we'll get the...
Hey, takes more than a Christmas card.
Right on, congratulations,
All right,
buddy.
buddy.
Hunting the brush country for a northerner like me who's more used to snow blizzards and rattlesnakes, well, it was an amazing experience. And the hospitality, lodging, and hunting at TC Outfitters with Charles Coker was nothing short of incredible. And I can't wait to get back next year, and you can bet what deer I'll be looking for. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Canadian, or I guess I should say Texas, Whitetail.